In the quiet suburb of Meadowbrook, where neighbors exchanged waves over white picket fences and streets were lined with maple trees, life moved at a calm, predictable pace. That peace shattered one early spring morning when Harold Harlan, a 58-year-old shopkeeper beloved for his homemade pies and cheerful greetings, was found dead in the back alley behind his family-owned grocery store. The discovery came from Mrs. Lillian Carter, a regular customer, who noticed the shop's door ajar while she went to pick up her daily bread. At first, she thought Harold had simply forgotten to lock up, but the sight in the alley told a far grimmer story. Harold lay motionless, a deep wound across his temple, his hands clutching the remnants of a torn ledger, one that seemed to have been rifled through in a frantic search. Detectives arriving on the scene were struck by the meticulous nature of the crime. Nothing had been stolen, the cash register remained untouched, and the shelves were intact. It was as if the killer had been looking for something far more personal, far more specific. As investigators combed through the shop, they found an old photograph tucked behind a row of canned goods. It showed Harold as a young man, flanked by two stern-looking figures, his father and a man identified as Richard Marlowe. Both men, it turned out, had been part of a bitter feud decades earlier, a dispute over property lines and business dealings that had once divided Meadowbrook's tight-knit community. Most residents had long forgotten the feud, dismissing it as a relic of the past. But the photograph suggested Harold had never fully escaped its shadow. Interviewing neighbors revealed conflicting stories. Some claimed Harold had been worried recently, mentioning old grudges resurfacing. Others insisted he had no enemies, painting him as a gentle soul who spent evenings feeding stray cats and helping local children with homework. Even his estranged sister, Martha, described him as kind but secretive, hinting at personal battles she had never understood. Then came a twist. Surveillance footage from a nearby street showed a figure leaving the alley shortly before Mrs. Carter's discovery. The person wore a hood, their face obscured, but their gait, slow, deliberate, almost ceremonial, caught the attention of detectives. Initially, suspicion fell on Richard Marlowe, whose family history with Harold had been acrimonious. Yet Marlowe had an airtight alibi, placing him hundreds of miles away during the crucial hours. Correspondence between him and a mysterious individual, someone referred to only as C. The letters hinted at secrets Harold had uncovered: financial manipulations, long-hidden betrayals, and a family legacy tainted by greed. Could the murder be connected to these revelations rather than the old feud itself? The community's reaction was visceral. Meadowbrook, usually serene, became a place of whispers and suspicion. Parents warned their children not to stray near the alley, while local gossip magnified every detail. A new delivery truck that arrived the night before, a stranger spotted near the shop, even the sudden disappearance of Harold's cat. Everyone had a theory, but no one had the answers. Weeks passed, and a second twist emerged. A local historian revealed that Harold's father had once embezzled money from Marlowe's family business, a secret never made public. Harold, it seemed, had discovered hidden documents proving the fraud, documents that C had urged him to expose. The investigation narrowed. The killer was someone desperate to keep the past buried. Finally, the truth unraveled in a small, shocking revelation. It wasn't Richard Marlowe, nor a random criminal. It was Harold's own nephew, Greg Harlan. Consumed by resentment and jealousy, he had learned of Harold's intentions to donate the disputed family property to a community trust. Fearing personal financial loss, Greg had planned the murder meticulously, planting misleading clues to suggest the old feud as motive. The community was stunned. A man they had known as quiet and reclusive had become the instrument of betrayal within his own family. Meadowbrook grieved not just Harold's death, but the revelation that darkness could hide in the familiar, lurking behind faces they trusted. In the weeks that followed, the shop closed its doors permanently. Neighbors would often stop by, leaving flowers by the alley, remembering Harold not just for the crime that ended his life, but for the warmth, kindness, and humanity he had shown every day in a world that could sometimes be cruel and unforgiving. Every case has evidence. Not every case has answers.